In 1974, we were introduced to the spy film, The Man with the Golden Gun, which is the 9th film in the James Bond series, and it was the second one to star Roger Moore as the fictional MI6 agent James Bond. The movie is a super loose adaptation of Ian Fleming's novel that was published in 1965 of the same name. Bond is sent after a breakthrough technology solution to contemporary energy shortages, while at the same time facing assassin Francisco Scaramanga, who is the man with the golden gun. The movie was met with very mixed reviews. Christopher Lee's portrayal of Scaramanga as the villain, who had similar skill abilities to Bond, was praised highly, but the reviewers criticized the film as a whole, mainly because of the comedic approach and the performances of Moore and Britt Eklund. The film was still profitable, but it was on the lower grossing side of this series. After Sean Connery left the franchise, Albert Broccoli and Harry Saltzman had intended to follow up You Only Live Twice with The Man with the Golden Gun, and were looking at casting Roger Moore as James Bond. However, filming was planned in Cambodia, and an uprising there made this impractical, leading to the production being canceled and creating a hefty delay. By the time that the script was ready for On Her Majesty's Secret Service, Moore was not available, and George Lazenby won the role, still convinced that it would be a great vehicle for the Moore Bond. Broccoli and Saltzman decided to start production on The Man with the Golden Gun straight after Live and Let Die. But as the novel was mostly set in Jamaica, a location which they had already used in an earlier film, Dr. No, and Live and Let Die, The Man with the Golden Gun saw a change in location to put Bond in the Far East for a second time. The production team chose Thailand as the primary location for shooting. Saltzman was really pleased with this choice because he had always wanted to go on location in Thailand and Hong Kong. In the beginning, the role of Scaramanga was offered to Jack Palance, but he turned down this opportunity. Christopher Lee, who was eventually chosen to portray the role, was in reality Ian Fleming's step-cousin and a regular golf partner of his. Fleming had originally believed that Lee was the right choice to play Dr. Julius No in the 1962 series opener, Dr. No. But some years later, Lee noted that Fleming was terribly forgetful as a man. And by the time that he ended up mentioning this to the producers, they had already cast the role with Joseph Weissman in that part. The Golden Gun itself was manufactured by special effects wizard John Steers. It was made from a number of tobacco and men's accessories, including a cigarette case, a fountain pen, and a cigarette lighter. This is an awfully odd-looking gun. They ended up creating 3 props. One was a solid piece. They created one that could actually be fired with a cap gun action to it. And one was set up to be disassembled and reassembled. Christopher Lee later revealed that this was a terribly tricky process, and they did quite a few takes that were lost as he struggled to fit the pieces together. The prop that was made so it could be broken down was loaned to Lee for promotional duties when he was touring for the movie. But when he traveled to L.A. for an appearance on the Johnny Carson show to promote the film, the Golden Gun was confiscated by U.S. Customs officials. It took months to get it back, but get it back they did. And all 3 of the prop guns remain at a prop warehouse in Hertfordshire, England, or at least they originally did. In October of 2008, it was discovered that one of the Golden Guns that was used in the film was missing and suspected stolen. When Roger Moore was informed about this prop theft, he jokingly said, "You better go ask Christopher Lee about that and search his house while you're at it. Maud Adams plays Andrea Anders, who is Scaramanga's mistress, and this was the first of 3 appearances that she makes in the Bond series. In 1983, she played a totally different character, Octopussy, in the film of the same name. She would also have a small cameo appearance as an extra in Roger Moore's last Bond film, A View to a Kill. The biggest stunt in the film involved James Bond driving an AMC Hornet, leaping a broken bridge, and spinning around 360 degrees in midair, doing what is referred to as an aerial twist. This stunt was initially conceived at Cornell's Aeronautical Laboratory in Buffalo, New York, as a test for their powerful vehicle simulation software. After development and simulation, ramps were built and the stunt was tested at Cornell's proving grounds. After they perfected the tricky maneuver, it toured as a part of the All-American Thrill Show as the Astro Spiral, where it caught the attention of the producers, who went on to license the stunt for inclusion in this movie. They used the stunt driver Bumps Willard as he doubled for Bond for this stunt. He completed the jump on the first take. This stunt achieved the reputation as one of the trickiest car stunts that's in the movie world. Now, I bet you didn't know that Alice Cooper wrote the song titled Man with the Golden Gun, and he did it to be used by the producers of the film in the film. But after all was said and done, they opted for Lulu's song instead. Alice Cooper went on to release his version of the song in his album, Muscle of Love. Throughout the filming of The Man with the Golden Gun, the working relationship between Harry Saltzman and Albert Broccoli is said to have just fallen apart and completely deteriorated by the end of the shoot. Most of the arguments happened behind closed doors, but there were several public disagreements that people witnessed. The Man with the Golden Gun was the final Bond film to be co-produced by Saltzman. His partnership with Broccoli was dissolved after the film's release. Now, it's reported in the autobiography of Roger Moore that while they were filming the boat chase scenes along the Kalong's waterways in Thailand, he fell in twice. Now, this was a nasty river and waterway system. There was all sorts of pollution and quite a few other things in there as well. The production company told everybody except those that had to be in the water to stay out of it. But Roger Moore fell into this water twice. The first time was on purpose, and he did that because he had been told not to get in it. And the second time was completely by accident. On the second time that he fell in, he made the mistake of opening his eyes underwater, and he was astounded at what he saw. He saw bodies that the local undertakers had discarded. These were people that were less fortunate and had no way of being taken care of after they had passed on. They just pitched them into this water. He was immediately shocked at what he saw and quickly got out of the water. As a converse side to this is the only Roger Moore Bond movie where the Bond character is not drenched in water in some way. Britt Eklund admitted that she was totally terrified during a lot of the filming in this movie, especially the scene where she and Roger Moore escape from the island. Moore pointed out one time that in one particular shot, right before the second explosion goes off, she falls to the floor, and she wasn't acting when this happened. Moore comes back and picks her up and helps her go on. His arm was around her back as the second explosion went off, and he felt the tiny hairs on her skin get singed from this explosion. The Man with the Golden Gun premiered in London on December 19, 1974. With general release in the United Kingdom that same day. It returned about $100 million in worldwide box office receipts. Take another look at this famous James Bond movie. You'll enjoy it. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll continue to chase the classics.